The Speed World Challenge season about to draw to a close here at beautiful Virginia International Raceway. It's the final round, the 10th round of the Speed GT Championship. I'm Greg Creamer, joined by Derek Daly and Ryan Till back with us again. Great to have all of you with us as well. And this track is absolutely phenomenal, a great place to decide a championship, and this is going to be a good one. Two former teammates going at it.
It is a great facility. It promotes great racing, is dramatic, and we're going to show you on the track map just coming up in a minute just why this is so special.
Now, here are the points, and as you can see for the top five, Petey Cunningham, 15 adrift to former teammate Michael Galati, then Johannes Van Overbeek, Randy Pobst, and Jeff McMillan, all very close, but it really comes down to the top two.
It's a nice cushion to have, but still you gotta finish the race, you gotta run hard like everybody else. I mean, I think it's important.
You know, we just have to, go out there and get as many points as we can. And that's what, Michael has a little more luxurious position. He only needs so many points to seal the deal. But, hey, anything can happen. So we got to run this race and see how things end up.
Until you see the checkered flag, really, it's not over until it's over, really.
You can hear the nerves for Galati. He gets a little help all season long on occasion. Audi has run a third car, normally for up-and-coming young American drivers. But there is Marino Franchitti, brother of kart driver Dario. He's raced here at VIR. He's tested the Audi. They brought him in as an extra third car with some experience at this facility to be able to go after and help Michael Galati. And boy, what a track to do it at. Any knowledge here, Derek, has to be huge because it is a beaut. The Sega Trackman.
If you take the best of Laguna Seca and the best of Road Atlanta and roll them in together, you might come up with a track like Virginia International Raceway. A wonderful track to drive on and to race on. The climbing S's are very difficult, and they're not flat out in these cars because the speed is so high. The Oak Tree Bend is one of the classics. The roller coaster at 14 and 15 really separates the men from the boys. Dramatic racetrack.
And it was proven to be fairly dramatic in qualifying. Petey Cunningham went out in the pre-qualifying session to determine the fastest 10 that would go to the top 10 shootout, and suddenly stopped, ran the car out of fuel, and apparently damaged the engine. When you do that, of course, you starve it, it can overheat, all kinds of things go wrong. The crew went into absolute thrash mode and swapped the engine out, and did a brilliant job to be able to get Petey ready to get back and on track for that qualifying session. Now, early in the shootout, John Young, the rookie who clinched Rookie of the Year, had a very quick lap going until this moment. Dropped that left rear tire, forced him way offline. He had to back out of it. He still ended up second, but it was Randy Pobst who put in, what else, a perfect lap in that Porsche and ended up at the end of his lap jumping to the top of the sheets. But it was not all done. Petey Cunningham was yet to come out. Petey came out, and as he picked up the green flag, see that little wisp of smoke? It grew worse. And you'll watch at the back of that car, the left bank, a lot of smoke puking out of the exhaust. Another engine gone for Petey Cunningham, and that put him at the back of the top 10 and back of the starting grid. Here is that starting lineup. Randy Pobst, another pole, and John Young. What an awesome season for this young driver. Row 2, Marino Franchitti, boy did he prove the wisdom of that. And Johannes Van Overbeek, always one of the quickest drivers outside of Row 2. Row 3, championship leader and defending champ Michael Galati and Justin Marks. Then in Row 4, Jeff McMillan and Phil McClure, both of them always quick. Then the 5th row, David Farmer, winner at Mossport, a little quiet since then, and Petey Cunningham going after that championship, but in 10th spot without a time effectively. Derek Bell inside Row 6. Alongside him, Boris Said, back once again, and in Row 7, Jimmy Adams and Greg Merrill, but a big surprise a little bit further back there.
As you look at Tim Weens, there also teammate and team owner with Randy Pobst. But look at way at the back, we have Bob Miller, because his car was underweight. After tech, he was put to the back.
For the 5th time this season, Randy Pobst has claimed the Woody's Ice Pole Award. He's helped Porsche win the Manufacturers' Championship this season. Randy, 4 out of 6 race wins each time you run. But does it make you think what could have been if you'd been able to run all season?
Hey, it's not getting what you want, it's wanting what you've got. And 3R Racing has brought me and this Porsche 911 a bunch of wins. It's a great team. We're looking forward to a heck of a race today. We got Cunningham coming up from further back. We've got a Saleen Mustang faster than it's ever been. I love this Speed World Challenge, and I love Virginia International Raceway, so let's go racing.
And this guy does know how to go racing, that's for sure. In addition to 4 wins this season, every time he's run in the 4 races that he's run in, he's been on the podium. And another guy that's been very impressive this season is John Young. He's wrapped up Rookie of the Year honors. And John, best qualifying position ever. You're starting on the front row. You get names like Pobst, Franchitti, Galati around you. How much would it mean to you to win this last race of the season?
That would mean a lot. You know, this Contract Mineral Products Saleen's been running good. The crew's worked extremely hard all year. This weekend as well gave me a great car. So most of all, I'd like to win it for them.
Well, he wants to win it. Randy Pobst wants to win it. You heard Randy say, let's go racing. Should be a barn burner here, guys.
Thanks very much, Brian. And I think you can see the look, the nerves in the eyes and on the face of John Young. And why not? He's sitting alongside a driver who's got his 5th pole in 7 races.
The Speed World Challenge is brought to you by Audi. In technology, performance, and design, our goal remains constant. Never follow. And by Toyo Tires, known for performance. Tires that fit you.
Well, Speed viewers, here we are, the last race of the year. But what I have to say is probably one of the most demanding tracks I've ever been to in my life. This amazing track, Virginia International Raceway. It's the last race of the year. I've had a wonderful time driving the champion Audis. No idea at all what's happening next year. We're going to be running something, but I don't know about Speed and what they're up to as far as having an old man in a car trying to talk during a race. It's going to be pretty tough during the off season, but I never know whether I'll be back next year. We'll have to wait and see. I guess if any of you have any great passion for it, well then a few emails won't hurt going through to Speed about how you like what we've been doing. I've had a great time, great camaraderie, great teams. And let's get on with the race and talk more about it later. Back to you in the booth.
Well, thanks very much, Derek, and we've certainly enjoyed having you as part of it during the season. You should always be checking out speedtv.com anyway.
Absolutely. That is where you get all the information, and you can vote for our Derek Bell to continue his long and illustrious career. I vote for that.
I vote for that. Always would I vote for that. Now, here's your front row. You've got the veteran and the rookie, and right behind it in 3rd and 5th spot, you've got Quattro Launch. This should be fascinating. Lights are on. Final race of the season about to get underway at Virginia International Raceway. Here we go. And there comes Franchitti and Galati. But they're blunted. Franchitti blunted as well. And Galati actually makes the better start of those two. Onboard Bell a little bit further in the pack. As we stream into the horseshoe, there's Dave Farmer alongside. And Petey Cunningham trying to get around the outside. Bell squeezed, bump, tap. Couple of guys off. Cunningham went off. And there's Boris Said, ducks underneath. Squeezes by D-Bell as well, as now we head in to the first of these 2 left-handers exiting the horseshoe.
Wow. Peter Cunningham put himself in a really precarious position to go outside Derek Bell and then begin to squeeze back down. And Derek Bell was not having any of it. Look at the fluid coming out of the back of one of those Audis. On board now with Justin Marks looking back at Franchitti's Audi.
Well, that's not a good sign early in the going.
Marino Franchitti got the best jump, but then it looked like when he went to 2nd gear, something happened because he suddenly lost all the momentum. And the 2 front row guys just got away again.
I almost wonder if when he went for 2nd gear, there was no place for him to go, because I think Pobst covered it beautifully, and by that time Galati was alongside and was not going to waste any time trying to get by. Galati, after a defense of his championship, comes in here as the defending series champion and would like to win it again. They could do it at this race. And Petey Cunningham, as you pointed out with that start, he's dropped off the map outside of the top 10. He's gone. But look at John Young. Oh, did he get a drive out of the Oak Tree turn? Pobst goes to defend to the inside. Young comes alongside. This is pure horsepower, and now it's braking. And in braking, Pobst wins that one. Boy, floats a little bit wide.
Oh.
Young takes a run, not enough. But Pobst got in there just a little hot.
I mean, John Young's Saleen Mustang here just looks like a muscle car compared to Randy Pobst's Porsche 911. I mean, it just looks a daunting machine here. But how far back is Peter Cunningham? Did you say 17th, I believe? He has fallen back to from that incident on that very first corner, with Derek Bell having started in 10th place.
And needs to win and have Galati outside of the top 8 for Petey to have a shot at this championship. So it's looking pretty bleak right now, as he's actually, you can see, he's still just trying to catch up to this group in front. So Cunningham looks set for an awfully long afternoon behind the wheel of the Acura NSX. For Galati, it couldn't be going better. Not only has he moved up a spot to third, he's got a teammate right behind him to sort of protect the back door. And you were talking about Young here as he just goes out of frame in the Mustang. This is a track, as we hop on board with Justin Marks behind Galati at this point, that car would seem to be tailor-made for this track. It produces immense downforce, that extremely wide, aggressive body, but it has the power to drive through it as well. Let's go back now, Derek, and take a look at that first turn incident.
Left side of your screen, look, there's P.D. Cunningham. Look, he squeezes Derek Bell. Derek Bell does a move, contact. Cunningham is off the road. On board now with Cunningham. There's the contact. Onto the grass immediately. Here's a slow-mo view from onboard Greg Merrill. Have a look at Boris Said here. He watches what goes on and just sneaks down the inside.
Boy,
Derek Bell really had nowhere to go. It didn't seem there, so
it looked like he got sandwiched.
Yeah, well, and Peter Cunningham was beginning to run out of road and onto the grass, so he had to try and force the issue. They made contact, and Cunningham went way back to 17th or 18th place.
Boris Said lucky to avoid that. He dabbed the brakes. You can see the brake lights come on, and he tried to turn down underneath Bell and avoid the incident. Did a brilliant job of it. Looking back now at Jeff McMillan. Now, McMillan, a former champion in this division, and he had a string early in the season of consecutive podiums and top fives and looked very good in the championship chase. But the last 3 races, he's had 2 finishes outside of the top 14, and that's really hurt McMillan's chances. And Cunningham in a world of hurt right now in terms of this championship. We'll be right back.
Just gift set.
Back at Virginia International Raceway, final round of the Speed GT Championship underway, on board with Justin Marks, and Cameron Worth has pulled off, and it appears that he's stuck in the mud. Now, there's been a lot of rain in the days leading up to this event, and even on Friday there was some moisture on the track, and it has really turned the grass off the track into a bit of a quagmire in spots. It looks like that has caught Worth out. Meanwhile, as we're on board with Marks right now, as he is trying to figure a way by Marino Franchitti, who in his first race in these Audis, Derek, at this track, again, he's got experience and he has tested the Audis, still in all up against some tough competition as he just throws that car into the snake section of this track. Is very impressive.
Very impressive. Out-qualified both of his teammates, particularly the champion-elect possibly, Michael Galati, by 4/10 of a second. That was impressive. Look up over the top of the curbs, down through up through the climbing S's, but that was a very impressive performance by Marino, who looks just like his brother Dario. His mannerisms and everything are just like Dario.
Sounds like Dario as well. Now, Brian Till has caught up with a driver who had problems in that opening turn fracas, and Brian, it's gone from bad to worse.
Mount has been Overbeck, obviously not where you want to be standing right now. What happened?
We had suspected clutch slippage yesterday, and apparently didn't get resolved. And it was to the point I just wasn't getting any drive in any of the gears. And rather than get stranded and cause a problem for other people, we decided to come in and park it.
That's the mark of a true professional. He has a problem with his car, but he's not going to involve anybody else in it. Disappointment for him. I know they've run well so far this season, but you'll see him back, guys, I'm sure.
There's no doubt of that. He is very quick, a very effective racer. There's his teammate, Justin Marks. Unfortunately for Van Overbeck, comes in third in the points by only 2, and this is going to hurt big time there. And we are full course yellow. Obviously, it's got to be for Cameron Worth, who is still stuck in that mud hole off to the side of the track. So problems there, but for Van Overbeck, this is going to be huge in terms of a shot at the top 3 in the championship. It is going to evaporate. There's Worth back on board and just waiting for a truck to come over and pick him up. So at this point, we find ourselves under an early full course yellow, so we thought at this point we'd check back in once again with Derek Bell.
Well, Speed, there you are, guys. Thanks you from the booth. A little bit hectic for a few laps there. Obviously, you saw Farmer working on Jimmy Adams, who hasn't been in this series all year, done a great job in GT3 and ALMS. And I think he found it a bit tough out here with all the wheel-to-wheel stuff that you don't get so much in endurance racing. But he went out a bit wide and Farmer pushed him, no, didn't touch him, but helped him get there, should I say. And that allowed Farmer to get through and me to get through. Boris, meanwhile, Boris said had pulled up quite a bit on McClure. But now we have a restart, which of course, as you may appreciate back there, is a great advantage to PD Cunningham, who is now only 2 cars behind me. Not that it affects me, but PD has to win this race, and Michael Galati, who's lying up in 4th, I think, or maybe 5th place in front of me, Michael has got to finish in the top 8. So Michael's got to keep his nose clean. So let's see what happens for the rest of the race. Back to you in the booth.
Great analysis from Derek Bell on the situation. He's absolutely right. I mean, PD needed some help, and this is it. He's still back a ways, but now the distance, at least to the front of this pack, is somewhat reduced, and PD Cunningham's just going to have to put the old bit between his teeth and go after.
There you closer.
Welcome back, and just in time for us to get the restart here, this final round of the Speed GT Championship. Pobst leads it over Young, then Galati, then Franchitti, and then Justin Marks. And Randy bringing him up pretty casual. Look at McMillan in the group behind, who timed it beautifully, got a tremendous run. Look at McMillan. He's in 5th. He's going for 4th to try and get by Franchitti. Pobst fends off Young, but boy, did McMillan get around. Look at Justin Marks trying to go around side the whole lot.
Wow, that was the...
Oh, and he gets ground. Phil McClure is off spinning.
That is about 10 feet.
He
hits it. That's about 10 feet further on than where Bell and PD Cunningham hit each other at the start of this race.
Right there, look at McMillan. And Marks is off. So both of the Brocade Flextronics Shoreline Porsches find themselves in a bit of trouble here in the early going.
How did you learn how to say that?
I've heard it frequently throughout the course of the season.
Yes, you did. Look at that there. $200,000 worth of motor car. Oh, look at the crab here. Yeah, so he's broken the rear suspension, broken that left rear suspension. It now crabs. He can probably drive it back. Justin Marks. He is mad. He is mad.
This is a tough deal. G&W Motorsports is the team that fields those cars. Let's go back first and take a look at a replay here. Very much similar to what happened at the original start, wasn't it?
He got bumped by McClure. Oh, I see what happened. On board now with Derek Bell. Look at Farmer. Basically, McClure got squeezed, had nowhere to go. Justin Marks was minding his own business on the outside line. McClure came across, they broke McClure's suspension, and that obviously did enough damage. As you look at the battle for 4th here, that was enough damage to take Justin Marks out. McMillan, look at that run here by Jeff McMillan.
Well, Boris said as well, Boris was behind McMillan after that brilliant start by McMillan, and Boris has gone around both Franchitti and McMillan. And look, that is the horsepower of that AER Mustang. They were getting trap speeds at Road Atlanta of some 150 plus miles an hour. And Cunningham now is up to 8th, right behind Farmer.
Oh, look at the oversteer. The problem now for Michael Galati in the championship chase, he has lost his wingman. Franchitti was the wingman right behind him in protective mode. That restart caught Franchitti out. He has now moved back to 6th with 2 cars between himself and Michael Galati, Boris Said, and Jeff McMillan. They're set in the blue Mustang.
I was watching the rear deck of Farmer's Vet. It's all over the place. He is right on the edge. That car dancing, and it's not even in the real challenging sections here, namely the Snake and then the uphill S's. I was going to say about the Marks and Van Overbeck, that team is run by G&W Motorsports, whose garage is about 300 yards off the track, just to the driver's left as they come by here. This is their home track, so this has to be doubly disappointing for that team to be struggling so much here.
Both cars out in the early stages. Meanwhile, Cunningham now beginning to catch up. You see the drift when he down changes, the car drifts again. He corrects it with the steering. Now it's a horsepower race down the long straight.
Well, he's in the draft, but you can see Farmer just able to hang on. Now he gets a little bit of a run, but it's just not enough, is it?
The Acura, I would have thought, in the brake zone would be better than the Corvette.
Well, here's the test.
Oh, no.
Close.
No, not able to stick his nose down the inside.
Great onboard shots. Enjoy this for a minute. Now down to that final turn, the hog pen. There is Franchitti chasing McMillan, and then Boris Said, and we go on board with Bob Miller. Remember his technical issue, a little bit light, and he ended up starting at the back of the pack, and he is working his way toward the front here at VIR.
The Speed World Challenge is brought to you by Toyota. Get the feeling.
We're back at Virginia International Raceway, and this is the battle for the lead. Randy Pobst in the sleek Porsche, chased by John Young, and that powerful and downforce creating Saleen Mustang as they launch out from underneath the Oak Tree turn in this long 3,500-foot straight down the back here, and look at Young coming on.
John Young looks like a monster about to attack that little 911, doesn't he? Look at this.
And he does.
In a straight line. Look at that horsepower.
And look at Pobst, under braking, ducks right back, and takes the spot back. Boy, he's willing to go in there a little deep and just sort of straight line that, isn't he?
Yeah, the monster. This is a monster attack here on this little pristine 911 Porsche.
You know, when that
Saleen, Greg, it's not too shabby in the corners either.
No.
He does not get left behind here.
That's where that downforce and all of those, just the molding on that car to create that is so effective.
Oh, there's the horsepower again. Look. We saw Boris Said fly down that straight earlier on.
By the way, if you're a little curious about John Young and his history in racing, he really didn't start racing big time until 1996. He got into the GT America Series, which is a pretty stout racing series. In 1999 and 2000, he did a number of starts in the Craftsman Truck Series, and then did just a couple of races in the 2001 Speed World Challenge Championship, and this year has come on board full time. And talk about a driver with a future. He is very good. He's had some great races earlier this year. That great battle at Moseport that he had with Justin Marks lap after lap as he was trying to fight his way up into the top 5 and going after the top 3 was great. There's Galati all alone, but in the top 8. So Derek, that's what he needed to do. And here's Boris Said. This is a car that in a straight line has been blindingly fast, but so fast that reliability's been an issue. And today, it's staying in one piece underneath him, and he's fending off the likes of McMillan and Franchitti. Look at the slide Franchitti had.
Exactly, but if you look at Boris Said's Mustang, much more like a stock-looking car. Doesn't have near the flares and chairs that you see on the Saleen Mustang, so it does not have near the horsepower. Consequently, a driver of Boris' talent is not in a challenging position for the lead.
That's true. We ride on board with Pobst and the big Young, and there he goes. This time he's well and truly by. And now he moves over right away to protect. And look at Pobst going around the outside, and he doesn't.
Now it owes, and John Young is very good after he turns into the corner on the way to the apex. He seems to have a lot of power, but Randy Pobst is showing John Young just how strong he is in these brake zones. So if John Young can make a pass like that again, and then begin to move over, I don't want to say block, but maybe take a defensive line, maybe he can keep Pobst behind him a little bit longer.
Well, look, it looks like that was what he was trying to do. He went around and then moved left to try and take that inside away, and Pobst promptly said, okay, fine, we'll try the outside line. So Young has to be a little bit befuddled right now, and what can I do in the braking zones to make this work? But we've been talking about the car that he's driving, and of course that's put together by the team. Brian Tills with his crew chief. Brian?
Jerry Hand, the crew chief for John Young. And Jerry, you got a rookie driver, but he's certainly not driving like one. Just sitting back, when are you going to make the move?
Our game plan coming in today was to just be smooth, fast, and save the car till the end. I would say probably the last couple of laps we'll start showing our cars.
Looks like he's going pretty good now, but maybe the Porsche has the brakes on him. You guys certainly look like you got horsepower.
Yeah, and that's what he's doing right now. They're dicing it up, trying to put the pressure on the Porsche and just keep the pressure on, but not make any mistakes.
Well, John may be a rookie, but I guarantee you, Randy Pobst is looking at that mirror going, he doesn't act like a rookie to me.
Yeah, Randy said, who is this guy? And Young is really out to prove exactly that he is a player here. We've seen it all season long. Remember, Randy hasn't done quite as many starts, and this is the first time that he's been going door to door with Young, and Young doing the job. You talked about Boris Said's car. That car of Boris has tremendous power, but it's the bodywork, the design of the bodywork, that doesn't allow Boris to be anywhere near this effective.
Here we go again. Here we go again.
This is the same story. He's gone by him around the outside.
Now, what's the brake zone? Brake zone again. Look at Randy Pobst, so deep on the brakes and takes back the lead.
So Pobst back in front. We'll be back to VIR.
Just gift set.
We are back at VIR. Good battle here. This is the scrap for 7th spot, Farmer and Petey Cunningham. And you can see Farmer is pretty intent on if Petey's going to do it, to trying to force him around. Then when he's confident, pops out wide, but Petey's going to duck underneath. And that was just Petey won the brakes of that car, but look at him, he goes a little wide. Farmer ducks right back underneath. He just give Petey a wave and say, this is fun. Look like it.
Look at that.
Pass, repass.
Yeah, I'm impressed how good that Corvette is on the brakes, because PD, I mean, remember, this is a mid-engined Acura. The handling should be a lot more nimble, and yet in an area where you would think the Acura might have the legs and the ability to actually make the pass and make it stick, the Corvette comes right back. That's impressive handling and driving by Farmer.
Very much. A little bit of a twitch there by Pete. He gives you an idea of just how hard he's running. Meanwhile, let's check in with Derek Bell, who's just gone by Bob Miller.
Thanks, Speed. Yeah, well, there you are. What a trooper Bob is. Bloody good private driver. Having a lot of fun, driving very well, doing a hell of a lot for the sport, bringing good sponsors in. What a guy, a gentleman as well.
That he is, and he has had a great season, as Derek said, for an independent. Now that's the end of that uphill S's, that fairly snug left-hander, and then into the Oak Tree turn. Derek bends in here, comes up.
You can hear the brakes squeal when he gets on the brakes also.
All right, Derek, I understand you had something you'd like to add.
And Daly, about this panting like a racehorse. When were you ever last tested when you were on the job, eh, boy? Oh, my goodness me, talking about this poor old 60-year-old panting like a racehorse. I bet Daly isn't so light on the breaths either. Back to you.
Wow, well, Derek Bell, a little bit of a memory from, was it Three Rivers show?
At least we know he watches our shows. He mightn't like what we say, but D. Bell is still our man.
Oh, he's very much our man.
He is our man.
Well, you suddenly went very politically correct on that, Derek. I'm ashamed of you. Cunningham's gone around Farmer, meanwhile.
Look at the bonnet shake and vibrate on David Farmer's Corvette here, but I doubt he's going to get this position back there from Cunningham unless Cunningham makes a mistake, which he seldom does.
It's true, you don't see a lot of errors from Petey, and you don't accrue the record in racing that Petey has by being mistake prone, that's for sure. It's just an amazing record in racing generally, and certainly in World Challenge competition. Back to the front, look at Young throwing the Celine around, trying to stay close here to Randy Pobst to hopefully affect another pass, I'm sure, coming out of the Oak Tree on that long run down to the roller coaster. Here's the turn that is becoming a huge favorite. Look at him just throw it around through there. And these drivers say, unlike touring, they cannot be flat through this section of track. Certainly not there. And here's Derek. That's Derek Bell right in front of Miller. This is the scrap for 9th. And Derek has it. Both of these guys have spent some time off the tarmac and have dropped well back and are just trying to fight back into this one here.
Over the curves, look, Derek Bell goes over the top of the curves, kicks up some dirt on top of Bob Miller. You see that the Audi drifts as you go past the apex. What a great section of racetrack right there that they just drove through.
Of course, we watched as there's the pass, repass section again. We checked in with John Young's crew chief a little while ago. Brian Till is now caught up with Randy Pobst's crew chief. Brian?
Will Moody, the race engineer for Randy Pobst. You know, I talked to the guys down on John Young's team. They say they're saving their car to the end. What are you guys going to have left?
We don't know. We're running very hard trying to stay in front of John. He's got a very, very strong car.
Randy said anything?
That's what he said. He said that car is very strong.
You were telling me a little earlier, Randy said he feels like every time he runs a good lap, he's teaching John something.
Yes, that's a comment. He says that John's getting faster as the race goes on.
It sounds like an old Kung Fu episode. Listen to me, Grasshopper, you'll go faster. Just don't go faster than the guy that's teaching you.
Well, that's a very good point. Young just tried to get around him in the outside in the approach to the horseshoe, Brian. So Young does, in fact, look to be getting stronger. And Will Moody, he's one of the best in the business. I remember Will spent a lot of time with him when he engineered the likes of Scott Sharp and Jack Baldwin and Ron Fellows to tremendous success in the Trans Am Championship with Buzz McCall's team in the early 90s. The Speed GT Championship season finale winding down here at Virginia International Raceway. as they come hustling through one of the S sections here at this track, and that's John Young still going after Pobst, still close, but not by.
This looks like Bigfoot about to stomp all over the cross-eyed German. Doesn't that car look like it's got cross eyes in the front?
Exceptional concentration.
And the Bigfoot monster truck is just going to pounce all over this thing.
See that hose there going to Randy's helmet.
Oh, Randy moved over.
He didn't want to give him the room to go by.
He's blocking him.
Yeah, he is, isn't he? He's
yes.
Woo! Driving in his mirrors a little bit.
Here he is.
Young. And Pobst just late on the brakes.
This is a great fight here. Horsepower versus handling. Randy Pobst definitely has the better handling and the better brakes on that nimble little 911. But the Bigfoot definitely has the horsepower.
But what about here? It looked like this time Young settled back just a little bit to give himself a little bit of room through this final corner down onto the pit straight, because he's tried him a couple of times going to the horseshoe, but he always was running up on him in the approach to the roller coaster.
Here we
and
go.
Look at the run here. Boy, did he get on it and get on it hard. Not enough. Or is he still trying to stay there?
But you see what Young's doing? He's braking a bit later, going deeper and deeper with Randy Pobst, as if he is trying to size him up. I can't imagine that he's trying to pick a specific time in this race to make his move, because I would think you make your move whenever you get the chance here.
Well, I would think he'd jump on the opportunity, but I mean, he's had really almost more success as Galati all alone in third, plenty good for the championship. But Young has been very strong in that run to the horseshoe the last couple laps. And earlier on, going into the roller coaster, you saw it too. He'd be all over the back of Pobst, have to back out of it, kill his momentum. It looks like he's trying to gap himself a little bit in that run down through the roller coaster, because that last turn, unlike the Oak Tree turn onto that long straight, that last turn is all about speed and momentum. And maybe he's trying to set something up there. I mean, he's got to do something. There's Cunningham now. Back in the order, he's gone around Boris Said as well. So Petey having a very strong run after that problem in the early going. The problem is he needed to win, and Galati still needed to be outside of the top 8. And so Galati looking very strong for the championship. Here we go again now, down this long, long back straight here into the roller coaster.
Here he comes.
And Pobst protects the inside.
Yeah, here he comes. Now the brake zone, side by side again. Oh, he brakes later and later. Young does.
Young right here, though, Young would run right up on the back of Pobst, and he's given himself a little bit of space, not killing that momentum so much.
That Oak Tree turn, he has to be right behind Randy Pobst, not lose anything, and come off with a head of steam if he's to get by Pobst and then pull back in and try maybe to block him or take that defensive line.
Yeah, but Derek, he got a tremendous run down at the bottom of that roller coaster section.
Yes.
And he's by him well earlier than he has been at any other point on this front straight.
And now he's pulled down to the inside. There is the defensive move I mentioned earlier. This is the first time he's made the move. And can he keep the lead? Can he? Oh, he slips and he slides. Can he keep it?
Boy, Randy
Yes,
Pobst
he does.
trying to work through in a gap that was going to evaporate, and Pobst finally has to give. Now he looks into this second tight left-hander, and Young does not give him any opening. Now, there's a left-hander here, and then we run into the snake, this S section. And if he can be in front of Pobst coming out of the Oak Tree,
absolutely,
I think that might be game, set, match.
Yeah, up through these S's, almost impossible to pass. Beginning to pull a little bit of a gap now on Randy Pobst, but if he gets out of that Oak Tree bend, as he probably will because of the lead he has now, he is in control, is John Young in Bigfoot.
So we'll be back for the final moments of this incredible season in just a second.
To order now.
We are back, and there you see it. John Young was able to have the lead into and at the exit of the Oak Tree turn, and look at the power coming to play here. That he's outrunning the braking zone of that Porsche.
Absolutely. Randy Pobst does not have a prayer of making up this type of space, no matter how good he is in the brake zone, but he will try on board now inside with Randy Pobst. There is John Young slipping and sliding down through. We're going to come to the white flag, I believe, on this lap, down through this plunging downhill section they call the roller coaster.
We can see there a spot certainly where Pobst still a little bit quicker here. But right here, it's the same story as Young gets out of that last turn, drops the hammer, and he's building up enough of a margin to negate anything that Pobst might be able to try in the braking zone. This is sort of like the motorsports version of D-Day.
Yes, exactly. But John Young now is a rookie, remember, under pressure, well clear of the championship battle that goes on independently of the race fight here, because Galati, as you saw, is by himself in third place.
Even if Petey Cunningham won, Galati in third would be good enough for the championship, but Cunningham behind Galati right now. So they're coming up on Brad Flowers, who's been struggling just a little bit here. Came in here 14th in the points, or 13th in the points, I think, but just didn't have the qualifying he wanted in that older 993 chassis car. And here comes Randy. Boy,
here
he
comes.
Everything he can right now, because he's got to be in front.
Randy needs traffic help here. He needs help from Brad Flowers if he's to try and make an attempt at sneaking by Bigfoot.
That's that tight left-hander at the exit to the uphill S's, and here we go.
Yeah.
And Young, he needs something and he doesn't get it. Flowers stays way outside there.
Yeah, Flowers sees the monster truck rolling down and he just pulls out of the way.
Now watch this, look at this. Boom, he's gone like he's shot out of a cannon here.
Yeah.
That Celine Mustang V8. That's it.
That's it. It is it. It is it, because the brake zone down here, no way can Randy Pobst make up that amount of room. He'll try.
He makes up a lot. Look at him sawing at the wheel as he's right on the edge here trying to stay with him. But Young, boy, unless he makes a mistake, though, it's just not going to happen.
Randy is all over him now. Now he puts the pressure on. Look at this. Look at this. Checkered flag awaits these boys.
But it's horsepower right here. You can hear Pobst a little lift. He had to give it up just a little bit and hurt his momentum. And John Young clinched the rookie championship earlier, now gets his first win, and that's a great way to end the season. And Michael Galati defends the championship he won last year, wins his second in a row, and Speed GT championship competition, that is something that is difficult to do, Derek, and Galati has done it 2 years in a row. Just a remarkable run. Here comes that battle, and Farmer is trying to hang on over Franchitti as they head up into the hairpin in the oak tree turn. And there is Cunningham, who comes up alongside to salute.
I think he did, yes.
I think he did indeed.
I think he did. Good sportsmanship.
They were teammates for many, many years when Galati ran with real-time racing, and Petey has a lot of respect for Galati. And of course, Derek Bell. It's the end of the season for our D. Bell and the Speed Channel Legends of Motorsport car. One last time, let's check in with Derek. Derek?
Thanks, guys. Well, what more can you say? As I say, great season. I hope we can carry on next year. I know the team will be, but you know, I'm bloody 61 next week, and I feel great. I love my racing. There's nothing I love better. So, well, you know, who knows? It's really up to the guys at Speed to decide whether they need some old fart like me in there talking. And you guys at home, it's up to you to call in and say, we want DB in a car. Because you obviously can't have Derek Daly because he pants like a warhorse. And of course, he's got a bit of grey hair. Okay, back to you in the booth. Thanks, guys, and thanks to everybody at SCCA. Thanks to all the corner workers. A great season. Thanks very much.
Advantage Bell.
No, maybe that was a challenge. Maybe that was a challenge that I might just take up next year.
Oh,
the
but
two
I love
Derricks
that.
head to head.
Well, if I'm back, it would sure keep my confusion factor alive, trying to figure out who I'm throwing to. And look at this, the three-car Audi juggernaut enjoying a little bit of a photo op here.
Look at this.
They got a BMW, a Porsche, and then a couple of Vets, boy. But they are enjoying this moment as the season is concluded with Galati champion.
No one gets you closer.
The Speed World Challenge is brought to you by Subaru. Visit us online at Subaru.com to see the full line of Subaru all-wheel drive vehicles. BMW, the ultimate driving machine. And by Toyo Tires, known for performance. Tires that fit you.
For John Young, there's no better way to end the season. He got Rookie of the Year. He claimed that. He had it wrapped up last weekend. And, John, what a stellar job today you did. Jerry Hand said, we're going to wait. We're going to save the car and get it done at the end, and that's exactly what you did.
I tell you, that was a classic battle. Saline horsepower against Porsche brakes, and I could get a run on him down the straights, and then he just blast by me on the braking zone. finally I got a good enough run on him there at the end to block him, get in front of him. But I'll tell you, I'll race with that guy anytime. He's awesome.
Randy Pobst has certainly done this for a while, and he had said on the radio early in the race, you know, every lap I think I'm teaching him a little bit more, and he just gets better and better.
Yeah, no doubt. Following him was a big education for me, and I think it's good that the pass happened near the end so I could get as much out of it as I could.
Well, big education. He certainly has a master's degree in it now. Rookie of the Year. He wins the last race. Look for this guy in the future. What a job.
Well, he learned the lesson, and then he executed it beautifully, and it gave him his first win in the year that he wins Rookie of the Year. Pobst in second, Galati third in the championship. Petey Cunningham, what a comeback drive. Not enough. And Boris said the car stayed together, and Boris another top 5. Farmer, Marino Franchitti, what a great debut in GT World Challenge Speed Channel style competition. Here's 11th through 20th, and you can see Phil McClure's day. He had problems, and it dropped well back at this point, so McClure outside and in the 20th spot. Let's go back down to Brian Till, who's with Randy Pobst, our second-place finisher.
All right, Randy Pobst, 7 races, 7 times you've been on the podium, but I know you. You wanted the top step, but what a great race you had with John.
Wow, I'll tell you what, it was terrific. I was getting all I could out of my Porsche. It was stopping great. The Celine was a monster on the straights, and John Young did a great job of driving the car. 3R Racing built me a tremendous Porsche today, and man, we gave it all we could, and at the end he had a little more left than I did. I saw him marching up. I got a little margin when there was a big oil spill, but he reeled me in, and I just couldn't hold him off. It was a great race.
He gave you the highest compliment that any racer can give another. He said he'll race with you any day.
Likewise. It's great here in the Speed World Challenge.
High praise indeed from one of the best, especially behind the wheel of a Porsche. Let's take a look at the points. Galati wins it. That third-place finish, plenty good enough. Cunningham second. Pobst moves up a spot to third. John Young from 6th to 4th, along with his Rookie of the Year and his first ever win. We take a look at 6th to 10th in the championship. Dan Overbeck, the driver who got hurt the most today. Now, of course, as we mentioned, Michael Galati not only wins the championship, he defends the championship. And Brian Till, that's pretty special.
Michael Galati, you did what you had to do, and it's like the guy said, you know, he's just cruising, but he's running in the top 3. It's the only way you know how to run is up front, and you're the first 5-time World Challenge champion. It's got to feel great.
Well, I tell you, this one was really special because, you know, when you're out there, you want to drive it, you want to make sure to take care of the car because you got to finish. But the guy is a champion. Guys, they give me a fantastic car. Thanks to Mr. Mirage and Rob Bymaster. The Audi this year, we finished in top 6 every race. And that's what it's all about. This is everybody, you know, not just me. They did the work. I just drive, have the fun.
Well, you knew coming into this that all you really needed was like a top 9 finish, I believe, but you weren't going to let that slow you down. All you know how to do is race.
No, that's the thing, you know. All the other stuff with the number, everybody was nervous. I'm like, I'm going to go out there. It's another race. Just put a little bit in your back of your mind and drive. Take care of everything in the car. Don't take too many chances. But I drive like I normally do. Just have some fun.
Well, that's the champion's mentality. He's going to drive the way he normally does. That's what brought him to the party. That's what got him the big trophy at the end.
Well, that's what got him the drive in the GT Championship. Here is our Rogaine hair raising pass of the day, and it's Cunningham over Farmer and Derrick. It was a beaut.
It really was, and this went on for several laps before Cunningham finally made it stick. But look, they're side by side. They rub off each other. There they bang each other again right there, and Cunningham finally makes it stick.
Cunningham is with Brian Till.
Well, Peter Cunningham, I know the race didn't turn out the way that you wanted to, but quite a battle with David Farmer ends up bringing you the Rogaine hair-raising pass of the race award. Tell us about that battle.
Well, we didn't start where we wanted to. We should have been closer to the front, we felt, but we had a problem in the shootout, so we started 10th, and then going into turn 1, we got a little help off the road. So we were dead last at that point and had to work hard, but the real-time NSX was great, and we just worked our way up. Once I caught David Farmer, it was a tough pass, but after he finally made a big enough mistake, I was able to get by, so not a bad deal.
And with the experience of a guy like Cunningham, he can pressure people into mistakes pretty easily.
Well, he may be a little frustrated. He was fastest in practice before that incident in qualifying, but nonetheless, even though he only got second in this championship, he won the touring car championship out of 2 championships in some of the most intense racing you can find. And of course, each of our 2 classes, the GT and touring, will have a year in racing review show in early December. Tune in. We'll see you then. Take care, everybody.